Ethan Miller, 26 years old, lives a regular but empty life in a big city in America. Every day is the same. Going to work at a boring insurance company, returning to his small apartment, having dinner alone, and silently watching the city lights up through the window. No one knows that deep inside Ethan always keeps a pain that he cannot escape, a mistake in the past that broke his closest friendship. In high school, Ethan and Lucas Turner were inseparable best friends. But at the age of 17, just because of a misunderstanding related to his classmate Emily, Ethan got angry and said words that deeply hurt Lucas. Lucas left in confusion and sadness, and right at that time, he had an accident that almost endangered his life. Although Lucas is still alive, their friendship has never been the same again. Ethan does not have the courage to face or apologize to the friend who used to be everything to him. One particularly cold evening, Ethan was cleaning out his old closet when he found a strange train ticket in an old notebook. The ticket was pale yellow, printed in a classic style. The midnight line takes you back to where you need to be. Ethan knew for sure he had never bought it, but the strange words made him feel uneasy and curious. 23:55, he walked aimlessly through the quiet night streets. At exactly midnight, Ethan came across an old train station that he had never seen before despite having lived in the area for many years. The sign on the roof read, "Memory Station." The letters faded with time. The whole place was bathed in a weak yellow light, and a thick layer of dust covered the benches. At exactly midnight, a black and silver train silently entered the platform, shrouded in white mist. The passengers got off with thoughtful looks. An elderly man wearing a classic ticket inspector uniform, holding a yellow lantern, walked up to Ethan. He looked at the ticket in Ethan's hand and said in a deep voice, "You're in time. Get on the train. This is a one-time stop." Although still confused, Ethan decided to step on. Inside the strange train car, it seemed like it merged two eras. Ancient wooden seats, but the light emitted from modern bulbs. The wall clock used hands, but had a floating electronic display. Other passengers whispered about the reason they were here: to meet the lost, to correct mistakes, to save what they had lost. The ticket inspector put his hand on Ethan's shoulder. "Think carefully about where you want to go back. When the train stops, you only have 10 minutes. The train started to move. The glass windows blurred. The outside world melted into endless strips of light. Ethan closed his eyes, and the image of Lucas at 17 appeared in his mind. The sad eyes, the sound of arguing, the moment Lucas stepped out onto the street and the car rushed towards him. When he opened his eyes, the train door swung open. Ethan stood before the scene of 10 years ago. The Lincoln High School yard, the familiar road, and the summer air that still smelled of sunlight. Ethan rushed down. In the distance, he saw his younger self approaching the meeting point, his face hardened with anger. Lucas was there too, looking disappointed but still trying to explain. "Ethan, you misunderstood. I was just helping Emily with my homework." "Lucas, you're lying. You knew I liked Emily and you were still so close to her." Looking back at himself, the grown-up Ethan felt a pang of pain. He saw a young, hot-tempered, and selfish boy, the one who had hurt his best friend in life. The moment Lucas turned around and was about to step onto the road, Ethan felt his heart stop. The car from back then was rushing towards him at the same speed as in his memory. Ethan shouted loudly, his voice louder than his mind. "Lucas, don't step over." Lucas stopped, and young Ethan turned his head to look around with a surprised expression. The car passed just a few centimeters in front of Lucas. The accident from back then had not happened. Ethan gasped. Lucas looked at him with bewildered eyes, and the Ethan of the past asked, "Who are you?" Ethan looked at the young boy from back then, his voice trembling. "Don't lose this friend. You will regret it for the rest of your life." Lucas looked deeply into the eyes of the adult Ethan. For some reason, he felt the warmth and sincerity in those words, as if they came from another version of time. Ethan wanted to say more, wanted to hug Lucas, wanted to apologize. But the space began to shake as if it was about to collapse. His time was up. In the last moment before being pulled back to reality, Ethan whispered, "Lucas, I'm sorry. Don't let us be apart." The scene faded. The strong whirlwind swept him into the vortex of light. When Ethan opened his eyes, he was sitting in Memory Station again. The midnight train had completely disappeared. The entire station slowly melted into the air, leaving Ethan alone in the quiet night. He didn't know if it was real or just an illusion, but his heart knew he had just experienced the impossible. The next morning, as he was getting ready to go to work, Ethan's phone vibrated. The message displayed a name he hadn't seen in years. Lucas Turner. "Hey Ethan, long time no see. I woke up this morning, and I suddenly felt like we needed to talk. Are you free?" Ethan stood still, his eyes stinging. A warm stream of memories flooded his heart. That afternoon, they met at the coffee shop they both used to frequent in high school. Lucas smiled, his eyes familiar and gentle as if there had never been a distance. "I don't know why I'm remembering the past this morning," Lucas said. "It's like someone reminded me that this friendship is worth keeping." Ethan didn't tell about the strange train ride. He just smiled. The conversation lasted until the shop closed, and Lucas finally said something that almost brought Ethan to tears. "No matter what happens, you'll always be my friend." That night, Ethan returned to where the station used to be. But now it was just an abandoned lot with a rusty sign that read, "Station closed permanently, 20 years ago." Ethan walked slowly, his heart light. He understood that the zero-hour train wasn't just taking him back to the past. It was taking him back to the person he always wanted to be. And sometimes, it's not about resetting time. It's about resetting your heart.